Lagos, the nation's commercial capital. This is the news at 10, live from Channels Television. Reported tonight, Amarachi Ubani.
Good evening and welcome. Tonight, the federal government to hold executive session with the board of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group over recommendations on overhauling education in Nigeria. Senate's Committee on Education advocates adequate budgeting and funding of education sector. Petroleum Minister Dezani Alison Madueke under pressure for allegedly spending 10 billion naira on private jet. And Australia investigates 2 objects suspected to be from satellite images.
On Business News tonight, former chairman of Goldman Sachs predicts Nigeria's economic forecast, says the nation could become the 15th largest economy in the world by 2050.
And tonight on Sports News, 8 clubs await confirmation of opponents in the UEFA Champions League draw holding in Nyon, Switzerland.
Today's session at the Nigerian Economic Summit was the last in its 20th edition. It emphasized renewed hope that the education sector will be overhauled. Well, earlier today, key speakers urged the nation's leaders to fix the sector by providing adequate infrastructure for education to thrive across the country. The Vice President promised that the federal government would take proper brief from the board of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group on their recommendations. Our correspondent, Olumide Macaulay, reports.
It was the third and final day of the Nigerian Economic Summit, the coup de grace, if you will, and in the spotlight, the voices of tomorrow, lent by the children of today.
Coming here, they said, sir.
One of the sessions presided over by the chairman, Channels Television, Mr. John Momo, represented by the General Manager, Operations, Kayode Akintemi.
This is the digital age. So we will expect the people who live in the digital age as against those who have enjoyed analog for a long time to speak a lot more. It is their time.
I see a Nigeria where there's no tribalism, where there's no Northerner, no Southerner, no Easterner, no Westerner, no Yoruba man, no Igbo man, no House man. I see a Nigeria that is not identified by corruption. I see a Nigeria where there's no favoritism. We are more than we are one. That's the Nigeria I see.
I see a future where both boys and girls are given equal opportunities to succeed. And education is made free up to high school for all Nigerian students. Even if at all government wants to charge fees, they should at least make student loans available at 0% interest and repayable between 20 to 30 years.
The public sector was continually represented, the presence of governors, deputy governors, and senators participating in a most vociferous way.
It is not even fair, and we disturb the real picture when we select students from very privileged federal government colleges, where admission is a function not of merit, it's a function of connection, it's a function of the uncle, it's a function of ministers' list, governors' list, etc. I would like to see that in trying to understand the depth of our crisis, that will bring children from those schools without roof in Edo State, those schools without roof in Katsina State, those schools without roof in Lagos State, and ask them to talk side by side with children from these private schools so that we can see how much the environment can change, the entire foundation for education.
In terms of leadership, we should start with the leader of the state.
in our own case, with the governor of the state. A leader who does not have passion for education, who does not love education, who has not gone through education process, cannot lead well. And I also want you to know that education is central to everything. I'm from Ekiti State. That's the only industry we have. It is our oil, it is our gold, it is our diamond, and so we are putting everything into it.
I think if we have strong institutions that are well managed, that publish accounts, and disclose, all their practices, that you will have a better educational system. So good governance.
The deliberations of the 20th Nigerian Economic Summit yielded these recommendations, inclusive of which propose government reforms, reduce the number of parastatals in the Federal Ministry of Education, greater autonomy for tertiary institutions, commitment from private sector to support public education, to establish set of early childhood resource centers, fund education projects where private sector brings profit interest and competence to bear, citizen-led assessment learning, to mention a few.
We have received the report and we are inviting the summit to formally make a presentation to the Federal Executive Council. Usually that's what we do. And then we will pick the recommendations and send them to the relevant MDAs for implementation.
Education for education's sake is not the objective of the summit, but rather to aid national development, recognizing that no robust economy can grow without a sound educational foundation, founded by principles funded by the government and the private sector and recognized by the citizens. Olumide Macaulay, Channels Television News.
The Nigerian Economic Summit also gave children an opportunity to make a case for their own future by pleading with Nigerian leaders to give more consideration to education at various levels. In our next report, Sulaiman Alede focuses on the presentation by school children at the special session today at the summit.
The Vice President has just arrived.
That arrival by Vice President Namadi Sambo signals the beginning of today's session at the 20th Nigerian Economic Summit. Today's session stood out for one thing. It was a thought-provoking session by the students.
We are the representatives of this great nation, the students' body. We want to air our views on how we want our future to be. We want to tell the people of Nigeria what Nigerian children want their future to look like. We want to let you know how we want our future to be.
We don't want schools that are just academic institutions. We want schools that are inspiration centers. Schools that when you graduate from, you will have something to show. You will have an impression that, yes, you have come out with something that will help you to boost the image of your country.
They also shared their vision for the nation, not leaving out the issue of safety and security.
Learning is difficult if we feel unsafe at school. I believe the government can help protect schools so that we don't ever have to be afraid anymore to go to schools. Yes. We lost some friends recently, and we believe the nation cannot recover from the loss. We need the government for security.
In making sure the young leaders' hopes and vision does not die, Governor Adams Oshomole has this to say.
Officially, that we can't boast of state-of-the-art government house, state-of-the-art bulletproof cars, and yet we leave our children under the trees. So it's all about leadership, it's about courage, it's about the good heart, and it's about convictions.
well, you may call it a close of a 3-day session, 7 plenaries and more. But now is the time for us to do all that they have all come together to discuss in this hall. But there's one thing that is sticking out like a sore thumb, and that is the willpower to implement all of this so that when we come back again in the years ahead, going by what the young ones have actually said that they wanted to see, we'll be talking about a fantastic future drawing from the Nigerian example so that subsequently other parts of the world can also learn from what we've been able to do in revamping our education sector. From the 20th summit of the Nigeria Economic Summit here at the Hilton in Abuja, Sulaiman Alede for Channels Television.
Well, staying with the summit, the chairman, Senate Committee on Education, Senator Uche Chukwumerije, says a broader system of consultation is needed if appropriate funds are to be disbursed to schools. The Supervisor Minister for National Planning, Bashir Yuguda, however, is of the view that there is a credible amount of consultation in the process leading to appropriation for institutions.
We insist on what we see as a national concerted leadership. By that I mean a leadership in which consultation, meaningful consultation, before decisions are taken, are done between the executive and the legislature and other interest groups. Let me begin with a few instances. Like you are legislating for education. Begin with what we will call appropriation, which is the primary job of legislature. Before I come to appropriation, start with what the Ministry of Finance calls envelope system. The envelope system must be drastically reviewed. There's a need for far, far wider and deeper consultation with all the interest groups before you arrive at a realistic budget estimate. What is happening now is they send the Ministry of Finance, cook their figures, pass them on to us as a kind of prefab given to a builder, and we have little change making that.
The envelope system everybody has been talking about is not done in isolation of all the MDAs. No. We, the MDAs, know what we are getting. On the basis of that, we plan and project. National Planning Commission, the Budget Office of the Federation, and the Ministry of Finance, we are involved with the budgeting process.
In part two, after the break, National Assembly to investigate sack of over 60 villages in Benue by Fulani herdsmen. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.